Good morning. Can you hear me all right? Okay. My name is Mark McGinn. I'm let's see, is it septuagenarian? Yes, thank you, Billy. A septuagenarian. The latter part of septuagenarianhood. I used to be a tall man. I'm now a medium-sized man. I'm skinny and I'm wearing an army green hat, long sleeve shirt, and black pants, and my Doc Martens with yellow shoelaces and a yellow scarf. That's me. I'd like to welcome all of you this morning, and I already said my name. Pronouns, remember, I have a noun, it's comrade. Whether you are on this site or on Zoom, whether you are with us on site or on Zoom, and whether it's your first time here or many times, we are glad you are here with us today. We hope that you stay for coffee or tea and conversation after the service. Chalice later. You're up. Oh, there you are. No, I wondered who was doing it. The chalice lighting words are from the Reverend Michelle Collins. This flame is for the questions that follow us home, the ones that refuse to settle, that sit beside us at night. Not every riddle is meant to be solved. Let this light keep open a space where not knowing is allowed and breathed. And to breathe, pardon me.
Good morning, everyone. It is so nice to be with you. My name's Colin. I help with our children's program here at First UU, he, him pronouns. I am excited. Today is May 17th, is that right? And May 17th is kind of a special day because all around the world there's people celebrating a day where we gather together and we try to oppose hatred. It's the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, Biphobia. I'm going through the Idaho bit. Is the acronym. I'm sure I've missed some, and I'm sorry about that. But I love this day because it's a day where we remind ourselves that even though we're all different, that doesn't change the love that we have for each other. And I have a story to share with you called Red, a Crayon Story by Michael Hall. And it is, see if you can figure out what this story has to do with including others and loving others. Here it goes. Oh, also, there's a visual gag throughout this story. The main character is a crayon, blue wax, red wrapper. Blue wax, red wrapper. It probably won't make sense if you can't see that. I apologize. Here it goes. He was red. Blue wax, red wrapper. But he wasn't very good at it. Oh dear. His teacher thought he needed more practice. I'll draw a red strawberry, then you draw a red strawberry. You can do this, really. But he couldn't really. Like this? Oh my, let's try again. Ooh. His mother thought he needed to mix with other colors. Why don't you two go out and draw a nice round orange? Oh, yeah, a really big one. Yeah, a really orange one. But they made a big greenish one. Oh, oops. His grandparents thought he wasn't warm enough. Your class is making self-portraits for Parents' Night. Wear this warm red scarf. Nice, it's so you. But it so wasn't. All the other crayon self-portraits looked like the right color, and his didn't. Oh, dear me. Everyone seemed to have something to say. Sometimes I wonder if he's really red at all. Don't be silly, it says red on his label. He came that way from the factory. Frankly, I don't think he's very bright. Well, I think he's lazy. Right, he's got to press harder. Really apply himself. Give him time, he'll catch on. Of course he will. But he didn't catch on. Green drew a green frog, black drew a black sheep, brown drew a brown cow, and red drew a blue ant. Oh. All the art supplies wanted to help. The masking tape thought he was broken inside. This'll hold you together. The scissors thought his label was too tight. One snip should do it. And I thought he wasn't sharp enough. Stay still now. But even with all our help, all his hard work, he just couldn't get the hang of it. One day he met a new friend. Will you make a blue ocean for my boat? I can't, I'm red. Will you try? So he did. Thank you, it's perfect. You're welcome, it was so easy. And he didn't stop there. He drew bluebells and a bluebird and blue jeans and a blue whale and blueberries. I'm blue. He was blue, and everyone was talking. My son is brilliant. Who would have known he was blue? I always said he was blue. It was obvious. His ocean really lifted me. All of his work makes me happy. His blue strawberries are my favorite. He's so intense. I'm going to make a green lizard with him, a really big one. I hear he's working on a new project. He's really reaching for the sky. And he really was. That's the end, and I hope that story helps you remember that you belong here, and we love you. We love each other, and we work through our differences, and sometimes we make mistakes like all the other crayons did, and we forgive each other, and we move on. So now, a lot of us children are going to go downstairs for a more interactive space. Anybody that wants to join us is welcome to. If you don't have a little candle, you can grab one. We take these to remind us that as we leave, the whole love of the congregation goes with us. And quickly, grown-ups, if you don't mind coming downstairs right at the end of service to pick up your little ones, that'll help us a lot. And while we're leaving, we will sing On Your Way.
Read it off of here. The prelude is Ave Verum Corpus by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and performed by Eva.
Good morning. My name is Anna. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm going to speak loud. So if you can't hear me, just go like that. I tend to get really quiet. Today's words of invitation are The Queer Beatitudes by Tim Adkins. Blessed are the fabulous, for they remind the world that life is meant to be lived in color. Blessed are the brokenhearted, for they will find chosen family to hold them together. Blessed are the drag queens, the leather daddies, the femmes, the butches, the bears, the twinks, and all beyond and between, for they show us the endless creativity of love. Blessed are those who have been told they are too much, for they will discover they are exactly enough. Blessed are the lovers who kiss on sidewalks, for they make the streets holy grounds. Blessed are the ones who glitter, who dance, who vogue, who sing off key in karaoke bars, for theirs is the kingdom of joy. Blessed are the elders who pave the way, for we follow in the freedom of their work. Blessed are the young ones still figuring it out, for the world is wide enough for all of their becoming. Blessed are we, the whole queer family, for love is our birthright and joy is our inheritance. Our hymn of the month for May is Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. It's number 301 in the gray hymnal, and the words will also be on the screens. You are welcome to stand or remain seated as we sing together.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer. My pronouns are she and her. Today I'm wearing a floral shirt to cheer me and hopefully some other people up. And I am a member of the Pastoral Care Circle. As a community, we share joys and concerns to keep connected. Slips of paper are available at the greeters table for those in the sanctuary to use for their joys and concerns. During the week, you may send your joys and concerns by email to pastoralcare@springfielduu.org or by leaving a voicemail on the church phone, 417-883-3922. If you're on Zoom, please use the chat box now for sharing your joys and concerns. All of these joys and concerns will be included in the members' email on Tuesday, and we honor each joy or concern with a lighted candle, a symbol of the love that we as a community offer for each of these joys and concerns. This morning, Lynn will be lighting the candles for us. And now, as we begin this time of sharing, know that though we are in multiple physical spaces, we are together in beloved community. To begin, we hold in love all of us, those present and those absent. We light a candle for our church community. I'm not sure I can read all of this, Mark, but I get the gist of it. Okay, I think I get what you're saying. So Mark has a joy. He is grateful for the existence of the Seekers group and the circle of love that we have here. We light a candle of joy. Yomi shares a joy. I had really good test results. My cancer marker, CA-125, went from 3,000 down to 330 with 2 treatments. We light a candle of great joy that we share with Yomi in that news. And we have a joy from Rev Michelle. I'm grateful for a weekend full of joyous celebrations for our family as Morgan graduated from nursing school and I graduated from my Doctor of Ministry program. Thanks to everyone who sent well wishes and those who made donations to Ecclesia in my honor. We light a candle of joy. And there isn't anything online, so we honor the complex and heartbreaking struggles of our world, and we light a candle for all who are impacted. And in closing, for those joys and concerns that remain unspoken in our hearts, we light a candle. May we hold each of these joys and concerns in our hearts and minds. May our community of love ease sorrow and boost celebration. Let us now join together in 1 minute of shared silence, followed by Spirit of Life.
Hello, folks. My name's Steve Watt. I'm a rather large gentleman wearing black. And this week, in May 17th in UU history, on May 17th, 2004, Hillary and Julia Goodridge were married at the Unitarian Universalist Association headquarters with the UUA President Bill Strickford officiating. The couple's daughter, Annie Goodridge, was in attendance. This was the first day that marriage between people of the same sex was legal, resulting from a suit filed against the Commonwealth of Massachusetts by the Goodridges. Their wedding was the first of its kind in Boston, though others were performed earlier that day and in other parts of the state. Our offering today's offering words are by Joe Von Rue. In our world, many voices are silenced. Many truths remain unspoken because the speaker fears rejection, judgment, or worse. Our financial offerings today help sustain this congregation as a place where all voices can be heard, where truth can be spoken without fear, where vulnerability is met with compassion. We give in gratitude for this beloved community and with hope for a world where more voices can speak their truth. If electronic giving is your thing, or if you're on Zoom, virtual giving options are available via our website, springfielduu.org. The offertory is Sarabande from French Suite 1, number 1, by Johann Sebastian Bach, performed by John and Eva.
That was so beautiful, I almost forgot to get up. I was just sitting back there enjoying it. So thank you. Good morning. I am Reverend Dr. Michelle Scott Huffman. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the minister here at First UU, and today I am standing here as myself with short, spiky, salt and pepper hair and black pants, and I have no idea what color this shirt is. It's sort of an olive kind of situation. I know that's not helpful. Today we gather to mark what Colin named earlier Idaho Bit. I was pleased this morning when I was scrolling through social media and I saw that IKEA had posted a post for Idaho Bit today with the hashtag because there's so much of, those of us in the queer community aren't huge fans of what we call rainbow capitalism. But then when we have rainbow capitalism and people pull it away, Target and other corporations as such, it's nice to see that there are still corporations out there that are willing to kind of put themselves on the line to celebrate something like this. So Idaho Bit is the International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia. The O is part of homophobia, H-O, and the I is part of biphobia. Some people would name that as intersex because we often see the I representing intersex communities in lots of spaces. I'm saying this because the people who have spoken out from the intersex community have said that they haven't necessarily signed on to Idaho Bit. And so that's not their I. The I belongs to the bi community. So why is all of that important? Because there are people behind those letters. And there are people for whom life can go from difficult all the way to dangerous because of the lack of recognition of who they are and who they love and how they choose to live their love out from day to day. And so the International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia was started in, I believe, 2004. And they chose May 17th specifically because May 17th was the day in 1990 when the World Health Organization finally made the decision to declassify homosexuality as a mental disorder. 1990. It marks a shift from viewing queer bodies and minds as inherently broken or sick to recognizing them as natural, beautiful expressions of the human tapestry. We look around our world and we see that despite decades of agonizingly hard-fought progress, the air we breathe remains thick with hostility. Globally, dozens of countries still criminalize same-sex love. And in far too many places, transgender and gender non-conforming individuals are subject to state-sanctioned violence, legal erasure, and disproportionate harm. Even closer to home, we witness a relentless political and cultural pushback, a frantic effort to pass laws that restrict gender-affirming care, ban books, and force queer people back into shadows of silence. This day is necessary because words and actions fueled by fear still actively work to diminish the inherent dignity and worth of every human being at the very core of what makes us who we are. Now, it's easy for us sitting in this space to point fingers out there at blatant, overt acts of discrimination. It's comfortable to condemn the anti-LGBTQ plus hate groups or the extremist lawmakers, but that's not what we're here for, is it? If we're truly honest with ourselves, we have to acknowledge that the poison of bias doesn't just belong to them. You see, bias is a shapeshifter. It exists right here in this space, even within progressive, liberal, and marginalized spaces. Transphobia is here. Homophobia is here. Biphobia is here. All of the ways that we struggle to understand other people and we make judgments about their choices or their lives because they are not like ours. All of the ways that we act out in macro and micro aggressions. They exist even in the most liberal and progressive of spaces. And so there is always work to do. How often do we who pride ourselves on inclusivity build our own rigid silos? How often do we form absolute, unshakable certainty about who the other side is, or even who our own community members should be? We slip into horizontal hostility, judging those within our own movements who don't perform their identity or politics exactly the way we think they should. We cancel people instead of calling them in with accountability. And for some of us, we don't know how to be called in with accountability, so there are no other options. The common thread behind this disconnection, whether it manifests as overt transphobia or covert intra-community judgment, is what researcher Scott Shigeoka calls an era of incuriosity. We close ourselves off from understanding the deep stories, the intricate nuances, the fundamental humanity of others. We trade the messy, holy work of relationship, learning, and growth for the cheap safety of being right. The poet Rumi wrote, "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there." When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. So much of the work that I do from day to day is about deconstruction of ideas, beliefs, and systems, and I've come to wholeheartedly believe that the first deconstruction is right and wrong. The calendar, or the universe, maybe, as often it does, provides us with an intersection to help us break out of that trap of right and wrong. Our theme this month is curiosity. Awakening curiosity. And today being the International Day of Homophobia, against homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia, we have a natural invitation to look at the intersection of those two concepts, queerness and curiosity. First, let me speak for a moment about my choice to use the word queer, both as a descriptor for my own identities and as a positive term in the discourse about meaning and world-making. I know that some people in this space, or people hearing my voice, have experienced the word queer as a slur, and perhaps even as an experience of personal harm. And I honor that pain. And I want to acknowledge that for many, those generational and personal wounds are still incredibly tender. And my intention today is not to minimize that history, but to invite us into a holy act of reclamation. Over decades of agonizing struggle, our community has radically transformed this word from a weapon used to diminish us into a banner of liberation, solidarity, and expansive love. It has become a generous, sacred umbrella that holds our beautiful, undefinable complexities. Sometimes students talk to me about the labels that they're willing to have attached to them, and they think that maybe queer is the one they want. And the thing that we've come to as a definition for queerness in our campus ministry is, I'm probably not straight, and beyond that, it's none of your damn business. And they like that a lot. More than that, as we will explore today, queerness, the word queer has become an active, disruptive force, a tool for dreaming entirely new ways of being in the world. If the word still tastes bitter to you, I understand that. And my hope is that within the safety of this sanctuary, we can hold both the grief of its past and the revolutionary hope of its future. Stacy Holman Jones and Ann Harris write in Queering Autoethnography, the queer in queer theory, as Butler writes, is a site of collective contestation, the point of departure for a set of historical reflections and future imaginings. Sarah Ahmed reminds us of the origins of queer from the Greek for cross, oblique, and adverse, and the implications of those origins for being queer, which highlights how we move between sexual and social registers without flattening them or reducing them to a single line. Queer not only points to an activist stance toward the theorizing of identities and the workings of power, but also the relationally lived experience of queer as fluid and unfinished, playful and political. In this sense, queer, as Butler writes, is never fully known, claimed, or owned, but instead that which is deployed, twisted, and queered from a prior usage and in the direction of urgent and expanding political purposes. When we understand the word this way, as an active movement that is fluid, unfinished, and intentionally resistant to being pinned down, we begin to see that queer is not a static destination. It's a way of navigating existence. It's a choice to walk crosswise, oblique, and adverse to the flat lines of absolute certainty that society tries to sketch for us. And it is this precise nonlinear movement that opens the door to a deeper way of thinking, wondering, and loving. You see, true curiosity requires us to leave the rigid shores of what we think we know and step into the fluid, unmapped waters of the unknown. And that's exactly where queerness has always lived. Queerness is, at its heart, a rejection of rigid binaries. It thrives in the liminal spaces, the thresholds where things are not easily categorized or neatly boxed. In his essay, A Spirituality of Creative Marginality, Eric Law captures this beautifully, writing that a constructive way to look at being marginal was to see myself as in between, part of both ends, but not fully one or the other. To exist in the in-between, you see, is not a weakness, it's a profound spiritual vantage point. When you're not fully bound by one rigid end or the other, you are uniquely gifted with the ability to see both. You're freed from the tyranny of the binary. The margins become a place of creative possibility, a sanctuary where we can ask the questions that the center is too afraid to utter. This brings us to modern social justice and activist frameworks where the word queer has undergone a radical transformation. It is no longer just a noun to describe who we are or an adjective to describe our community. Queer is a verb. In the Encyclopedia of Diversity and Social Justice, scholars Joshua Trey Barnett and Carrie W. Johnson define this active disruption as such. As an activist framework, queer functions as a verb. To queer is to challenge the dominance of heterosexist discourses, or is a distorting, a making the solid unstable. To put it another way, queering is a complicating of the taken for granted normativity of everyday practices, spaces, and discourses. To queer something is to take that which feels solid, unmovable, or just the way things are, and gently, sometimes not so gently, shake it to reveal the hidden assumptions underneath. When we queer curiosity, we're no longer talking about a polite intellectual interest in extracting information. We're talking about a radical, destabilizing curiosity that refuses to let harmful norms sit comfortably. This isn't just an academic experience. It transforms how we live, love, and build community. As Mel Cassidy writes in Radical Relating from a Queer and Polyamorous Viewpoint, I think there's something to be said for queering up the way we do relationships, in the same way that we can queer our gender experience, in the same way that we queer our sexuality. We can queer the way we're doing relationships, and one of the ways that we can do that is by challenging the gender-based assumptions, basically. She goes on to challenge us to queer all the stories and really step back. Don't take things personally and look at how we're shaped by that. She asks the questions, what do I want to keep? What do I want to filter through? What do I want to negotiate, and how do I do it? Think about the liberation in those questions. What do I keep? And what do I negotiate? When we operate from a place of queered curiosity, we stop blindly following the scripts that are handed to us by a heteronormative, cisnormative, patriarchal society. We stop forcing our relationships, our bodies, and our souls into shapes that do not fit them. Britt Billmeyer Finn synthesizes this beautifully, noting that queering as a verb is the practice of staying fluid and curious, an invitation to experiment with how we're categorized, and to question the roles we take on to make others comfortable. There's nobody here that takes on roles to make others comfortable, right? Of course not. But how do we practice this? How do we live out a queered curiosity in our everyday lives to dismantle the phobias and biases that divide us? We go back to Scott Shigoka's DIVE framework as a spiritual guide. He says that DIVE stands for detach, intend, value, and embrace. To detach, we must actively let go of what he calls our ABCs, assumptions, biases, and certainties. To queer our minds means to distort the solid walls of our preconceptions. It requires the intellectual humility to be an admitter, to say, I might have misread you, tell me more. And then intend. Deep curiosity doesn't happen by accident. We have to intentionally prepare our mindsets and our physical spaces to be open-hearted, especially when we expect conflict. It means choosing to step into difficult conversations with a desire to understand rather than a desire to win. Value. We must recognize the inherent, ineffable dignity of every single person, full stop, no exceptions. We cannot be truly curious about someone we've already devalued, dehumanized, or written off as irredeemable. To queer our relationships is to see every person as a complex, multifaceted mystery rather than a flat stereotype. An embrace. We must welcome the discomfort of the hard times. We must welcome the discomfort of the hard times, the awkward moments, and the spaces where things feel unstable. Friends, there are people in this room who think I have just said the most awful thing I've ever said, because there's nothing we want less than to be uncomfortable, to feel awkward, or to feel unstable. And yet, we must. When fear or anxiety arises, a queered curiosity doesn't run away. It doesn't get offended or scared. It leans in with a question. Maybe the question is, what is this discomfort trying to teach me about myself? So friends, on this International Day against homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia, my call, and I would say in my spiritual framework, the call of the divine is to step out of the stagnant pools of incuriosity and certain judgment and be invited to step into queering our curiosity. Let us refuse to shrink ourselves or our neighbors into small, rigid categories just to make a fearful world feel comfortable. Let us commit to making the solid structures of hate and bias unstable through the relentless loving force of our questions. And may we occupy the creative margins, embrace the beautiful in between, stay wonderfully fluid, and dare to wonder about the sacred depths of one another. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. The interlude is Blackbird by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, performed by John and Eva. Our closing words today come from Reverend Tandy Rogers, who writes, "May your wonder be bigger than your fear. May questions lead you gently into truth and not control. May you meet the unknown with wide eyes and let your spirit be surprised." Our final song this morning is Let It Be a Dance. It's number 311 in the Gray Hymnal, and the words will be on the screens. You're welcome to stand or remain seated as we sing. I heard somebody say this morning, rise in your seat or on your feet. So that's up to you. Thank you, friends, and thank you for the energy that's, I think yesterday was ecstatic dance, right? I think there's some folks here on this side who come here for ecstatic dance on the third Saturday of each month, and I still feel that energy in this space when I come in on Sunday morning. So if you don't know what ecstatic dance is, talk to some of these people over here. As we get ready to go, I want to remind you to take a look at the announcements on the blue sheet that's in your bulletin. There's also one out in the hallway, so you always know what's going on around here and how to be involved. And now we will extinguish our communal and personal chalices and close with our unison sending words. Our service here is ending. Our service to the world begins anew. Go in peace, friends.